The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Josh Shigala from Vaultoro.
Yo, 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 folks.
Martine Wishmare from General Bytes.
Good morning, crypto.
Lamar Wilson from Black Bitcoin Billionaires.
What's happening?
And I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to issue one. Issue one, Bank of America to allow Bitcoin futures for some clients. Anonymous sources have told CoinDesk that Bank of America may already be set up to trade Bitcoin, with more on the way. According to the sources, they'll allow Bitcoin and Bitcoin futures trading for some clients. This comes on the heels of Bank of America starting a specific research department and an entire team dedicated to cryptocurrencies. Josh Shigala, what do you think about Bank of America perhaps allowing Bitcoin futures?
Oh, thanks, Bank of America. You're so nice to us. Ooh. I see it as another distortion of the markets, really. I mean, futures were there, for those that don't know, to like help farmers, for instance. You don't have enough money for the crop, so you sell the crop in the future at today's price to sort of get some money in, and then you plant the seeds, and then the crop goes up, and then maybe it's like a killer season, and you've got a monopoly on the crop, and wow, that sucked, because now you've got to pay. You've sold the crop for cheaper than it's actually worth. But with Bitcoin, all these sort of things, these instruments start to distort. I just find them a little bit distortionary. I think they are important as well, just like shorting is an important part of the market. But when organizations like Deutsche Bank or Bank of America or large institutions come in, I kind of feel that they use these mechanisms to manipulate the price. And when you're manipulating price on something that's the rarest asset on earth, apart from individual people, you've really, there's a big opportunity there for them. They can really manipulate the price, buy up those rare assets, and keep them until they go up. So, I'm always a bit careful with these sorts of things.
Martine Wissner.
Well, yeah, it is. I think they do it because they can make money on it, and it's probably the customers asking. Personally, I don't put any money in those derivatives, because if you want Bitcoin to go up, just purchase some Bitcoin, or your other favorite cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. So if people if there's a market for it, they'll sell. Personally, I'd stay away from it. It's probably some custodial solution you really don't want to burn your fingers on. But it's great. It's good to see that mainstream retail banks are getting interested in selling, or being custodial for the rarest asset we have on this planet, named Bitcoin. So that's any news is good news. But I agree with Josh here that banks are just there to make money, and they're probably not there for you. So just buy some Bitcoin, hold it, store it safe on a Trezor or on Ledger, and enjoy the ride. That would be my advice.
I'm shocked to learn that Bank of America is not on board with your freedom agenda. Lamar Wilson, your thoughts on Bank of America perhaps accepting Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think the part that I'm looking at is more so that the some clients. I think that's very important to look at, because if you have noticed, many of these banks have said they're going to provide access to these assets for some of their clients. And usually they're talking about their high net worth individuals. And I think that is a signal. It's almost like a dog whistle to everyone, basically saying that if you're not a high net worth individual, then you don't deserve Bitcoin. And I'm not in Bitcoin for that. I'm in Bitcoin for freedom. I'm in Bitcoin for everyone. And I'm in Bitcoin to be an actual alternative to the actual system, or the nasty system that the banks have in place right now. So I think that some clients is always a bit of a worrisome thing for me, because it may make people believe that they're not worthy. But if you are listening to this right now and you want Bitcoin, you can get it really, really easy. It is the people's currency. It is the people's asset. It is the people's whatever you want it to be, because it is a tool that helps you to get closer and closer to freedom and self-sovereignty. So yeah, that some clients I really don't get down with that much, man. I don't like that terminology, but it seems like more and more banks are starting to say that, and it seems like they're trying to make it the asset of the wealthy. So please go out and front run the wealthy.
Right on, man.
Right. Well
Well
spoken.
said. Yeah.
Good one, Lamar. And I just want to take a little victory lap on this one. I always said that it would be Bank of America whenever we talked about what bank it would be. And I've always said that they would come to this. So it's very strange to be in Bitcoin so early when they're like, that's a Ponzi scheme. That's a scam. You're ripping everyone off. You're some kind of Silk Road drug addict, all those kind of things. And now it's like Bank of America has an entire division researching that scam, researching that drug addict. So it's great to see that turn around, even if it is only, you know, Bank of America, which is really the Bank of Italy, I think it was, in San Francisco. But moving on to the exit question, is this the domino that knocks all the other dominoes down? If Bank of America, as expected by this article, does accept Bitcoin, will all the other banks have no choice but to join in? Josh Shigala.
Yeah, I mean, generally, this is what happens. You know, competition arises, and at the end of the day, banks are really struggling. They're retail banks are basically just service providers for other services that they plug in. So insurance, for instance, and stuff like that. So when you log into your bank, you will usually see other things that you can get, and this is kind of what it's turned into. So they're looking for other products and they've got to plug it in. But, yeah, Bitcoin don't need no bank. We got into this to get out of the banks, exactly what Lamar said. So screw them. Too late. You're high. You know, these banks, you got to remember, folks, these banks built such massive moats around themselves, regulatory moats, to protect themselves while making it look like, ooh, we're protecting the consumer. But it was to protect their business model from startups. And Bitcoin was so left of field or right of field or out of the picture, out of the box, that they just didn't think about that this was coming. And all of a sudden, it looks like it can really seriously disrupt their entire system. So now they're like, and some of the high net worths, of course, are like, come on, let me in. Just like, what's his name said, oh, look, I want to be able to short the mortgages of America and mortgage-backed securities. And of course, they were like, well, if you're that crazy, we'll build that product for you. So I think this is what probably is happening.
Well, it's like we've been saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it. Martine Wishmayer, your thoughts on Bank of America? Will they be domino?
We'll definitely see more banks, starting to do this. But I always say with Bitcoin, you are your own bank. If you want to, you can run your own node, you can run your own wallet, you can connect your own wallet to your own node. So instead of relying on a third party, provider for your wallet, you're actually, running on your own infrastructure, and then you become Bitcoin. So I think for some clients, this is like a bridge too far. That they'd rather have a custodial solution. For the rest of us, I'd say, don't let the bank screw you with their rates and their fees and everything. Just take the short route, learn a little bit, and then just fire up your own umbrella node and become part of Bitcoin. And we don't need those banks now. Ugh.
Lamar Wilson, will Bank of America be the domino that knocks them all over? Will I get some free Bitcoin instead of a toaster next time I open an account?
I think what's going to happen, man, I think Bank of America is a domino, but I think the domino already existed in the form of PayPal, Coinbase, and all these others. The reason why I say that is because when you start seeing the earnings reports from Coinbase and PayPal and everyone else making all of this money on trading Bitcoin, the banks are looking like, this is a way for us to get fees out of our clientele. And so we want to have access to this as fast as possible. So I think the dominoes started to fall especially when Coinbase went public, because they saw how much revenue that this company was making just by trading Bitcoin. So I think they'll continue to try to come up with derivatives and all of this other stuff that has nothing to do with Bitcoin at all, just so they can get fees from you. So they can be the rent seekers that they are, and they will continue to do that. And that's why I'm saying, just go get your own Bitcoin, screw the futures, screw custodian Bitcoin behind bank walls, and get your own wallet and hold on to your own Bitcoin and run your own node when you get there. But make sure that you understand that the banks are only doing this so they can get fees from you from trading. Because all they have to do is update a database, and that's really cheap for them to do so.
That's funny, because I've always felt that Coinbase was kind of chasing Cripsy and then later chasing Binance as more and more strange products were offered. And they're like, if only we could get those fees for those altcoins, if only we could get those fees for that DeFi or whatever the thing is. And then now to see Bank of America, the mainstream institutions, looking at Coinbase, who we think of as, still pretty boring, although they have some crazy altcoins. And they're like, oh, we're jealous of them. We want their fees. Once again, to remind everyone, this is also the Trojan horse of Bitcoin is being taken inside the walls, right? They tried to fight it off. They said it's a Ponzi, it's a scam, it's for Silk Road only, it's for dirty purchases, all that stuff. And then all the while, they're like, this looks pretty nice. And like Lamar was saying, their clients are demanding it. Their high wealth clients are like, we want to buy the Bitcoin everyone else is getting rich on. We want to get richer. And so the banks are like, yeah, just bring that Trojan horse inside the walls. It looks really nice now. Then now they're like, oh, it's a nice horse. Before we were like, it was kind of ugly and gauche, but now we're like, it's a sweet horse. So we'll see what happens with that after night falls. Moving on to issue 2. Issue 2, Coinbase CEO hits back at Dogecoin creator after attack on cult-like Bitcoin and crypto price culture. Jackson Palmer, who is a really creator of Dogecoin and has a really unique way of using Twitter. Jackson only puts out one tweet at a time, waits for it to become so big they write an article about it, then he deletes the tweet. It's a whole new way of using the platform. I'm really impressed with Jackson there. But what Jackson said, he said that Bitcoin was an inherently right-wing, hyper-capitalistic technology built primarily to amplify the wealth of its proponents through a combination of tax avoidance, diminished regulatory oversight, and artificially enforced scarcity. I think the scarcity is real, but I don't know about artificial. This is a major broadside against Bitcoin. Many people who have made lots of money, like Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, fought back against Jackson, arguing that crypto is simply providing an alternative for people who want more freedom, and claiming that Bitcoin has made so many people wealthy, which kind of lends into Jackson's point. Let's go to Martine Wismayer. Are you ready? What do you think about Jackson Palmer, Brian Armstrong, and Dogecoin getting political?
I think he's just being really sour. The guy that created the cryptocurrency because he hated cryptocurrencies, then made like no money on it, maybe paid off his secondhand car with it, but he made like no millions. He could have made billions. Now claims it's some sort of political thing. Well, I've been working since my early 20s. I've been involved with digital currencies. First DigiCash, eCash, then came eGold, then came crazy Liberty Reserve. And in partly, it always attracted a bit of a weird crowd. Whether they were like some weird libertarians or something, but it also attracted like nerds, crypto cypherpunks like me. And what we wanted is like a payment layer for the internet, because the internet gave everybody access to information. But for many people that just had the internet and no credit card, they couldn't like purchase online or anything. So they were left out. The payment layer was missing from the World Wide Web since it was like invented. And Bitcoin is that payment layer. whether you use Bitcoin or you use Bitcoin over Lightning, it is a payment layer. And him saying just like, oh, it's just, oh, yeah, it was just, I don't know, I can't repeat it, but he's just like sour. And I think, with such an attitude, he doesn't even deserve his Dogecoin. That's what I think.
Not even a single solitary Doge for Jackson. Lamar Wilson, your thoughts on Jackson Palmer's political rant?
Yeah, I think Jackson, he's been doing this, right? He did this a couple years ago. He wrote a whole article about it, how he was getting out of it, getting rid of Dogecoin. I think he's going to continue to do it, and it's because he doesn't really understand, right? Like, I truthfully don't believe he understands Bitcoin. He might have cloned Bitcoin software, or actually cloned Litecoin and created Doge and changed a few parameters and put that out in the world and made a joke out of it. But I don't think he truthfully understands what's going on here. Like my man Martin said, think about it from this standpoint. The internet is there, so why not have the internet of money? And when you have the internet of money, that changes the way we use it, and it goes back to the freedom. And I just think it's very weird that Brian Armstrong would take this political stance, seeing as how he said he was not going to do anything political, but he's taking this stance because you know what? This is touching his pocket. See what I'm saying? When it touches your pocket, now all of a sudden you got to start talking, because he knows that Jackson coming out saying something as a creator of a cryptocurrency, understanding what the government, they don't understand. So they're going to look at it and go, well, this creator said that all it is for us to, for them to make a lot of money off of it and to evade taxes. So he said it. So now Brian Armstrong feels like he needs to speak out against something political. But, we over at the Black Bitcoin Billionaire understand what he did speak out against. You understand what I'm saying? Because that wasn't touching his pocket. So now let him deal with Jackson Palmer. We all understand that whatever Jackson says doesn't really matter. He's like the dude that came to the park and played basketball. And then when the real players came, he couldn't play anymore. Nobody picked him up. So he said, screw basketball. This is the worst sport on earth. And that's pretty much what happened. Like, we can't play anymore. So he's trying to take his ball and down basketball and say it's killing children. You know what I mean? So this is where we are right now. But I think, yeah, it's stuff will blow over. This is not a news story, really. It's just two guys that are going back and forth, just like we do on Twitter every day. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Excellent points, Lamar. And I remember back in 2014 when Jackson quit Dogecoin for the first time. And I did a little video about it probably on Mad Bitcoins at the time. And I said something like, it's okay to quit a thing. You want to walk away. You're bored with it. You're tired of it. But Jackson wrote a whole big screed about how Dogecoin was bad and Bitcoin was bad. And I think the price of Dogecoin at that time, it was probably very small, but it went down like 70%. Everyone was depressed. Everyone lost their money. The project was hurt. And my main point was like, okay, leave anything you want, but just kind of walk away or Irish goodbye. Jackson was like, I have to kill this thing and then I'm going to leave. And then it didn't die. And then it didn't die again. It didn't die again. And then Elon Musk is being called Doge father now. And it's just that he can't kill this thing. So I don't know. I want to send some empathy out for my friend Jackson. I really do like Jackson. We've hung out many times. He's a good guy. He invented Dogecoin as a joke. He's got a sweet job at Adobe. I don't think he worries about anything. He's got a cool girlfriend. He's a good dude. But yeah, he just doesn't like cryptocurrency. He could have made $1 billion off this. Like, that's got to ring in the back of his mind a little. But I do think he's got some points on the political things, but I want Josh to go and then maybe I'll chime in some more. Josh Agali, your thoughts on Jackson saying Bitcoin's only for the right wing, only for the tax avoidance?
Yeah, look, I mean, the thing is that right wing and left wing is such a bullshit terms. Like, no one really knows what they even mean anymore. They're two wings on the same bird, and they're a nice paradigm to keep people locked into nonsense. I was the inventor of the first swap site where people swapped clothes way back in the day, and I soon realized that it was a shit system, because if you have a shirt that I really love and I say, hey, you want to swap, and I have nothing you like, then the deal falls through, even though there's an entire marketplace there where I could give you some sort of credit or token or something that would represent value. So it would just open up your world. So the thing of saying, oh, it's hyper capitalistic, Well, what do you want? You want to buy milk and eggs and stuff? Well, how are you going to do it, man? Well, you're going to paint everyone's house that you want some stuff for? Like if you're a painter, no, like you got to, capital is a really, really important part of society. And moving those tokens or credits or whatever you want to call them. I mean, I don't like credits. I like money, actual money that's found into existence and doesn't have to go, back to a bank with interest that doesn't exist. So this is why Bitcoin is just a beautiful system. It's found into existence rather than lent into existence, and it's just amazing. As for Jackson, I mean, I feel really bad for him, but he definitely should do the Fed as well. He should write a big tweet storm about the Fed, how hyper nonsense that is, and how it's actually, make sure that it's like the Fed system is literally a game of musical chairs, and there's just sweet F all chairs, and everyone has to walk around there. And as soon as the music stops, there's just not enough chairs to sit down on. And there's a bunch of poor people that just cannot get the money because it's not there. There's too much interest owing for the money that's available in the system. And this is just crap. It's just a crap system. And anyone that stands up for that system needs to be laughed at because obviously, I mean, he's not a dumb guy, Jackson. I'm just, come on, now do the Fed, man.
Just as with the energy argument, the gold bullion system uses 7 times the energy of Bitcoin. The banking system uses 7 times the energy of Bitcoin. And I think the PlayStations being left on, the always on devices, uses like 10 times the energy of Bitcoin. But they never talk about that because that's complicated and difficult to calculate. It's easier to just multiply how much energy Bitcoin's using and say, oh my, if you multiply things, the numbers go up. It's shocking. Let's move on to the exit question. Will Jackson Palmer ever change his mind? The long tortured creator of Dogecoin, Bitcoin at 30,000, Ethereum at 2,000, Dogecoin, I don't know, 30 cents, but at one point it was 70 cents. All of this happens. Elon Musk, mainstream interest, Mark Cuban, all these people, and yet still Jackson. When will he change his mind? Martin Wismayer, go ahead.
Well, technically he's a no coiner now, so I don't think he will change his mind. And if he's got all his money in dollars, then he's all for the Federal Reserve, and probably knows that the Federal Reserve is not federal and they have no reserve. So he's living his fantasy. I wouldn't even bother to try to convince him to go back into crypto, but we shouldn't give him that much attention. Apparently Thomas says he's a cool guy. I believe Thomas on his word. So, and his girlfriend is nice, so that says something too. So, but for the rest, for crypto opinions, no, not for me.
He's an Australian. They're just great to have at parties. They're always fun. Lamar Wilson, exit question on Jackson. Will he change his mind? You're muted this time.
Yeah, hey, listen, I met Jackson. He was one of the people that was supposed to be a mentor at Boost VC. And I met him then. He was a cool, really a cool guy, man. And I don't think he's coming back, and I don't know why any of us care. Like, to be honest, that's why I love Bitcoin. Do what you want for yourself. Like, we don't need leaders. We don't need heroes. This is about you, your self-sovereignty, and your ability to do what you want to do with your money, with your asset. So that, to me, it's like, I don't think he'll ever come back. Like, I would love to talk to him again and chill with him and all of that. But I mean, that dude is, he anybody who writes long hit pieces to try to to deter other people from touching something, they're probably not going to come back. Because it's just too much to overcome. Like, if he comes back and says, I have Bitcoin and I have Doge and all of this other stuff, like, nobody is going to ever listen to him again, man. It's the story of the boy that cried wolf. So if he's trying to kill it, he can't be the person that kills Michael Myers and be Michael Myers at the same time. It's not going to work, man. So that's where we are.
He could start Dogecoin too. It's all the features of Dogecoin, but with a 2 on the end. Josh Shigala, will Jackson come back?
Nah, it's like Mike Hearn, just sort of rage quit and then what are you going to do? You can sort of work on some other projects here and there. But it's also like Buttcoin. There was a subreddit Buttcoin. They were like slagging Bitcoin at like, $2-3 this guy's sitting there slagging it, and everyone else is like, guys, what, can't you see this is the first rare digital asset? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, all right, keep slagging. And then eventually they just get, Buttcoin gets butthurt, and it's horrible to watch. But at the end of the day, Lamar's perfectly spot on. We don't need no heroes. We don't need no stinking badges. We just get on with life. Like we don't need these cult of personalities. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. That's why Satoshi left. We don't need people leading this thing. If you want some, have some. If you don't, then whatever.
No, can I say something really quick? That's a prime example, though. That's why Satoshi left. Because if Satoshi was around and he spoke up and was like, man, Bitcoin just sucks. Like, think about all the ripples it would cause to everything. So Satoshi knew, them knew, like, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
Yeah, spot on.
The panel is united. Jackson will not be coming back, but you can stay on my couch anytime, man. And I hope we can go sing some karaoke and go drinking in San Francisco again soon. As soon as we can get this whole pandemic thing over with. Moving on. Check out the World Crypto Network shop at shop.worldcryptonetwork.com. We've got Treasures Don't Float, the t-shirt. We've got World Crypto Network, the mug. Look, I got one of those right here. World Crypto Network stuff at shop.worldcryptonetwork.com. Issue 3, Square is building a decentralized finance business using Bitcoin. That's right. Square wants to have DeFi applications which rely on smart contracts rather than banks or other third parties to execute transactions. They're apparently not interested in Ethereum, EOS, or any of the other usual suspects. They want to do it on Bitcoin. Lamar Wilson, your thoughts on Square building a decentralized finance system on Bitcoin?
I think it's great. I think everything needs to be decentralized. I think that decentralization is about empowerment. Centralization is about being in power, right? So I think anyone who's focusing on decentralization is a good thing, and to build it on the strongest blockchain in the world, the most secure blockchain in the world, I think is smart as well. And the thing I like about it the most is that it's going to be open source, and they're going to open that up to developers to be able to develop with it and move that initiative along. So I think all of that together is really, really, really cool. But I just always want to tell people, like, this is not the first time that large business has taken on open source software and basically subsidized it, right? I remember BitPay did the copay wallet, the multi-sig copay wallet. So I mean, these companies are doing that. So it's not like a huge thing, but it is really good to see, especially public traded companies like Square, take up the mantle and say, you know what, we want to move towards decentralization. And I think the key name is, I think the code name right now is TBD, and everybody thinks it's to be determined. But I think, like my man Mal Sutter said, it's to be decentralized. I think that's really what's going on, man. So yeah, I think it's a really, really good thing, and I hope other companies come along and try to push that initiative forward as well.
I remember that it wasn't too long after that BitGo, I think, tried to copyright the entire concept of multi-sig. So they would control it for everyone, leading Peter Todd to famously quip, BitGo. Oh, whenever I think of that company, I always think, BitGo, fuck yourself. BitGo, fuck yourself. Yes. Josh Shigala, your thoughts on Square building a decentralized finance system?
Man, I don't think I've ever heard such a sophisticated go fuck yourself. Hey, so yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. I think DeFi is the shit. I love decentralized finance. I think it's super fascinating, the area. When we first started Voltoro, it was after the Mt. Gox hack. And my brother and I sat down to try and figure out how to build a decentralized exchange, because we're over these exchanges running away. You know, there was a whole gamut of exchanges that were just going bust, or online wallets just disappearing, and I just got so angry because back then you'd get just clueless journalists saying the CEO of Bitcoin has run off with everyone's money, and, you know, just stuff like that. So I was like, let's build a decentralized exchange. But the problem was Bitcoin's op return codes just aren't built for the complex structures you need for that. And so instead we focused building Vaultoro with an allocated asset like gold, and but focused on transparency, because the Bitcoin blockchain can be really, really good, useful in transparency. And so we did that. But now that we're building the standard, it's the shirt here, we're building it on Ethereum because it's got the network effect of the other applications of finance. And I really want to build it on Bitcoin, man. I was looking and looking and looking, but it's not ready yet. So I'm really, really excited about this. I think it's great. We'll definitely work on adding some development to that project, depending on how well it's starting to look, and you know, try to build a bridge across to those, because I think if we can build a bridge across to the Ethereum space, which is vast now, you know, it really is vast, and it's very, very, it's fascinating because they are taking on Wall Street with a lot of the functions, which is really, really cool to have non-custodial ability to do complex lending and things like this. A really, really, really fascinating space. So I hope that we can do it on Bitcoin. You know, I don't really care if it is or not, because Bitcoin to me is this beautiful store of value. It's the original crypto. It will always have value no matter how many extra features it gets. But I think it is definitely such an exciting space that I hope that maybe we can see more complex code being written and programs being written for Bitcoin. Yeah.
Martine Wishmayer.
I think it's exciting to see. Unfortunately, you know, I've been reading about Square and the Cash App and their seller point of sale type of app. Unfortunately, it's not available here in Europe. So when I go to the Play Store, I see Cash App not available for any of your devices, or not available in your region. So I think, you know, open sourcing it and decentralizing it would also give the other parts of the world access. I think it makes sense. If you look at like Bitcoin, it's a decentralized cryptocurrency. So why do we feel the need to build centralized services on top of this layer of decentralized currency? So this is also the reason many of our clients, the general bytes who operate networks of Bitcoin ATMs, they all run their own server. And like 90%, it's like 10% doesn't like to run their own server, so they run it in a cloud server that we can provide them. But all the other ones, they use their own server, and this is the way it should be. You know, for if this stuff is decentralized, it will only make the network stronger. And I think Jack understands that, and I think, you know, for it to succeed and maybe become a standard in, you know, payment app, point of sale apps, maybe, you know, buying Bitcoin app, it needs to be decentralized. It will. I think it was good for the industry, and I also read in the article that they purchased Tidal, which is a streaming platform, last summer or less than a year ago. And I never used it because, you know, I'm like always like on Spotify, but I had a look tonight. It looked like awesome. So just imagine that you could like stream sats over Lightning to your favorite artist while you're listening. And that's the way they are making their money. I mean, we've seen pilots on this Lightning app called Breeze. And you can like visit your favorite podcast, and then while you're listening, you can constantly stream sets every minute. Now imagine doing this with all your favorite artists, not just podcasts, but like any artist. It would totally revolutionize the entire, you know, music industry. So I think he is onto something, and therefore I really think it's really cool and just fantastic. And as soon as there is some code out there, I'll definitely have a look at it to see where I can improve or where we can change, or maybe tap it into the general bytes network of ATMs. I don't know, but we'll definitely see something coming out of this. So yes, Jack, super. Thank you.
Exit question. Jack Dorsey is famously the CEO of Twitter and Square. Will Jack Dorsey be the most successful dual CEO in history, even more successful than Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett? Or will the price of Bitcoin dip, causing investors to seize Jack's offices with pitchforks and torches, tearing down his kingdom? Lamar Wilson, your thoughts on the future of Jack Dorsey?
I think the Bitcoin price won't have that much of a say so on Jack Dorsey and what he's doing at those two locations, because he hasn't taken a huge amount of risk when it comes to what's going on at like Cash App and Square. I think it was like 1% of his treasury or something like that. He didn't commit a lot of his treasury to it, so I don't think that's going to stop him. But yeah, I mean, he is definitely like doing a good job running both of these companies from I guess from a social standpoint. I mean, I don't know the numbers of Twitter or Square to understand from a business standpoint. I don't really follow the companies that well, even though I do own Square stock, but I've been owning it for a while. So I am a shareholder, but I just hold on to it because I feel like, Square knows. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into that. I've been holding that for a very long time. But yeah, so yeah, I think I don't know. He's a really cool guy, really dope dude. And I think him even thinking about Bitcoin in the way he does is what I think more CEOs that say they like Bitcoin, they need to start putting their money where their mouth is, like he's doing, and he's starting this new business. So yeah, I appreciate that. But outside of that, I don't know if he's gonna be better than Bezos or whatever. Who knows?
Jack Dorsey not in trouble, but Michael Saylor better watch out. Josh Segala.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's weird seeing these like super uber elite in terms of wealthy getting into this and starting to really work with it. I think it's amazing. I thought it would take longer until this happens. But Jack's been into it for a while now. He's been pushing. I think he passed the lightning torch as well. Maybe he was the one that flogged it. I don't know. Someone did. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. He'll be wealthy, whatever happens.
No worries for the man in the nice sandals. Martine Wishmayer, your thoughts on the future of Jack Dorsey?
Oh, he'll do okay. I think even if he wouldn't succeed, I don't think he'll eat a lobster less or a steak less because of it. But I don't think he will be as rich as Jeff Bezos, because you have to be a bit of a, this dickhead CEO, like like the Apple guy, and then Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, like prevent people from joining a union. And I think Jack Dorsey is not like that. He's more like the hippie approach. I don't know any of them, but this is like, what I see in the media. I think, Jack is more like the relaxed guy. And, he didn't, I don't know whether Lamar or you said it, like 1% of his assets went into like crypto. I think this is a pretty smart move. It's an asymmetric risk. The risk of everything going down the drain would mean that he loses 1%, but the chances are much higher that it will fly. So the risk is the returns are asymmetric. So there's a good chance that he'll make a lot of money on this. And I think it's good that he's like open sourcing it. And a lot of times people think that you can't make money on open source, but that's not entirely true. If you plan it carefully, you can make money off open source. Like, the general bytes platform is for the largest part open source. It means that anybody can create their wallets and exchanges and everything. but still we are the ones making the ATMs. Same thing for Red Hat. You know, you can install Red Hat Linux on any PC and it's free. But if you want to have enterprise support, that's where you start paying. So there is business in open source, and I think it would be a really smart move from Square to like open source this, also open source the like the title. That's, I think this is just the most, in even more than this Cash App or this point of sale. There's no money in point of sale. So, but there is a streaming media, and if this is the way of the future, where you just pay your favorite artist, just send them some sats while you're listening automatically. This is fantastic. This would totally change the music industry, and I think he's onto something there. So yeah,
you know, one thing if I can add to that is that you know, I really, you know, everyone's celebrating like Michael Saylor buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, and of course that, wow, yeah, great, good on you. But I like the fact that really you should put a little bit of money into some of the developers and develop on Bitcoin. That will do a lot more for your investment than just piling more money into it and letting everyone else, sort of like a free rider approach of like, oh, well, we're just going to ride on everyone else's hard work and profit from it. You know, I think it's you know, companies like ours and the work you've been doing, General Bytes, and the work that Lamar does, and, you know, we're all putting value into the system. Of course, you know, Michael Saylor is talking about it and is always on the radio and stuff as well, but his resources are vast, and it would be great if they just chucked you know, a few $1 million at certain developments in the space that are needed. That would be great. So seeing DeFi come to Bitcoin is a really great development. I'm just really looking forward to it. There is already things like of course the guys from Latin America. What's the protocol that's sidechained on Bitcoin? It's slipped my mind now. But that's also a smart contract built on Bitcoin.
Counterparty?
Well, not Counterparty. Anyway, it's slipped my mind.
RSK?
RSK, of course. Of RSK, and you know, that's really cool. So I'm wondering, maybe are they going to help there? You know, help that side of the project out. I'm not sure.
Well, Jack Dorsey's been a prime Bitcoin citizen and a good example so far. I like the way he's fended off all the people who are like, why don't you add Dogecoin? Why don't you add this coin? Why don't you add that coin? He's been very good on the straightforward. Cash App is a Bitcoin app, and it's interesting to see them take that stance while Brian Armstrong's over there at Coinbase saying, we'll take any coin you got. We'll even take Dogecoin, which, you know, we called a joke and a bad investment and not safe and all those things. We're like, well, it's popular, we'll take it. Jack is the other way. He's just taking Bitcoin. So I like to see that. Moving on to issue 4. Issue 4, Curio Cards. Curio Cards NFT, an NFT created in 2017 by Thomas Hunt, Travis Uhrig, and Rhett Creighton, has suddenly become popular again. The unsuccessful startup, after launching the cards as ERC20 tokens, went away for 4 years, leaving the cards in a vending machine contract. Later on, NFT archaeologists found the cards in an NFT in a vending machine contract, purchased all the cards, and began speaking about Curio Cards. That was a few months ago. Now, within the last 24 hours, Curio Cards appears to have gone viral. While once there was only 500 owners, now there's more than 1,100 owners of the cards, and the volume has gone up from 1.2, from below 1,000 Ethereum traded, or about, I don't know, $1 million, is that right? To about $2.8 million in just 24 hours. During a period last night during our live show, 4 or 5 cards were purchased for a total of $80,000, some in the double-digit Ethereum range, 10, 20. A picture of Mad Bitcoins drawn as a wizard sold for $36,000 alone. Josh Segala, your thoughts on the rediscovery of Curio Cards? Also, the project has been discovered by Gary V, a famous Twitter personality with 2 million followers, and Daryl Morey, president of the Philadelphia 76ers, who changed his profile picture to a picture of my friend Rhett, who's a computer programmer. Josh Segala, your thoughts on Curio Cards?
Yeah, well, I'd love to see Rhett back on the show. I think it's fantastic. You're a visionary. What you guys built there. I think it was very, very interesting back then. But I was talking for the longest time. I didn't really understand why someone want to buy a digital thing. I think it's kind of, for me, it's kind of a two-edged sword. Like, what I love about VR is go in there and anyone can create as much real estate as they want, and as many weird things and cars, and you see some skateboard riding along with eyes, and then you see hear some voice going, "Hey man," and you look down, it's like a skateboard with eyes, and you're like tripping out and thinking, "Wow, that's crazy." And it's just the weirdest world ever, that anyone can create anything. And what I would hate to see is homelessness in VR, because they can't afford the NFT for that thing, for that house. That would suck. So for me, it's like digital items is a weird thing. But then the other day I was, as you can see, I've moved into my new place and there's no art on the wall. And we were, I was talking to the artist that I wanted to get one of these photos from. And I said, why don't you NFT? And then I had to explain why I think it would be good. Because if I bought one of his paintings with an NFT, I could then resell that painting with the NFT to prove that it's an original one of his. It would allow him to make scarcity of his works. So only 100 prints or whatever, and 100 NFTs, and I could then sell it on and prove absolutely that I got this from this guy, and it would have to sell with the picture. And for the first time, it sort of clicked. And of course, for you, Thomas, this clicked for you a long time ago. And so I'm really glad to see that finally you're getting retribution for that, and people are actually recognizing your work in that. But there's been a bunch of people in crypto that this has happened to. For instance, Adam B. Levine, for instance, he invented a whole bunch of stuff. Even the word token first sort of came from him for a long time. Like, everyone was talking about coins, and he was like, "No, tokens. It's about token. It's giving me." No one's recognized him for that stuff. So some of these early Bitcoins came up with a lot of stuff, and so it's great to see Curio Cards actually getting that recognition it deserves. Well done.
Thank you so much, Martine Wishmare. Your thoughts on Curio Cards, which some are saying is the first art NFTs on Ethereum, the first.
I think they're fantastic. It's good to see that, like, years later they get rediscovered. I didn't understand the whole value behind the NFTs at first. To be honest, I was just like Josh. I was late to the party. And now if I want to have like a Thomas Hunt in Special Agent 007 outfit, Curio card number 20, I can't even afford it anymore. So I'm just too late to the party. But I do see the value of this. Like where Josh said, you can like authenticate real art for on your wall. The cypherpunk or the crypto artist Martin Fischer from Prague, I've got some works downstairs, and they are authenticated on the blockchain. So if I would sell it, I can prove that it's an original. But what I'd really like to see is that the original creator gets a kickback on that. Like, for example, if somebody sells a Curio card, that the original creators get a tiny percentage of that, so that they stay in the loop, so that it's not the auction houses and the fancy galleries that will make all the money, and basically the artist doesn't really benefit from it. But I think in the future, like now, we should have a system where the original artist is compensated for every time this artwork sells. So in the future, they get their royalties out of it. Not exactly on the topic of Curio cards, but it is NFT. And I read somewhere, like, everybody has these smartwatches nowadays. and they come with these boring watch faces. So I think there is a good market for NFTs there, that you can buy, like, you know, really arty watch faces for your smartwatch, and that you actually can, like, prove that you are the owner of that original artwork, which is your watch. It's not just a watch, it's your watch, you know, and it's with original artwork. So that I think is a good application for it. So yeah, we'll see a lot more happening in this space, and it's fantastic that the Curio cards finally get, like, you know, the attention they really deserve. Well, not really half the attention they deserve, but still, you know, they're more. It's coming alive. You were just too early again. You know, that's the thing, Thomas. You were just too early. You were too early with the World Crypto Network. You know, before people, you know, when you started with World Crypto Network, people thought with crypto, they thought about Kryptonite, the stuff that killed Superman. So 0 viewers at the time. Then with the years ago with the NFTs, before they were NFTs, but they were collectibles, you know. So yeah, maybe you should just, like, you know, you did it twice, and 2 times the timing was off. So, you know.
I have an incredible startup formula. I start the company up, we go out of business. 4 years later, we're a runaway success. So you have to hang in there for my projects. They last a long time. There is a 1% royalty on the Curio cards that are sold through OpenSea that does go directly to the artist. It's split evenly amongst just the artist, nobody else. Some are saying that Curio cards belong in a museum, perhaps the British Museum, the German Museum, Smithsonian, Metropolitan Museum of Art, maybe all 4. Like, it would be fun that you could say that as a sentence, but something like that might happen. Lamar Wilson, your thoughts on the incredible developments in Curio cards that I had no idea was coming.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I am going to disagree with Josh and Martine. Now, the Curio card part, yeah, I'm cool with, because it's a digital NFT. I don't believe in having a digital representation of a physical good, because there are too many ways to game that system in that situation. Like in Josh's case of him buying the art from the guy on the wall and him having the digital NFT, Josh could be a humdinger and basically get a replica of that same art on the wall and sell the NFT, and he keeps the original. You know what I mean? And nobody will be able to authenticate, because there's no way to do it. Because even if you put a QR code, you can do all kinds of things on the physical art, and it still wouldn't matter, because you could just replicate all of that in the physical world. But from a digital standpoint, if you can digitally sign a file, then that actually allows you to see that this digitally signed file is actually the one that's signed by whoever the person who had access to that private key. And I think that is very interesting. I think NFTs are just collectibles. People always say, well, you can make all these copies of it. Who cares? There's a whole lot of copies of Louisville Slugger bets, but the one that is signed by Hank Aaron is worth a whole lot more, you know? So even in that environment, I get it from a digital standpoint. I just don't like the physical one, because it doesn't really match up if you really think about it. But I love the fact that my man Thomas, old school, super OG, been knowing him forever, like mad Bitcoins, like that guy came out with the Curio cards, and I think it's really crazy because it's an OG Bitcoiner that did what is the new wave of what everybody loves in Ethereum. And they always like, Bitcoiners are just so slow and they're so archaic and they don't know what's going on. And I'm thinking to myself, man, like, you don't understand. People have been doing this stuff for a long time. I mean, we did NFTs on top of Bitcoin on a Bitcoin derivative with open assets, right? And when you talk about color coins and those kind of things, so it's like we've done this stuff, and I am very happy and proud of my man. Hopefully, you getting some economic benefit outside of the 1% royalty. Hopefully, you all have the actual keys to create more Curio cards or something. I don't know. Like, if it's blowing up like that, hopefully you guys are benefiting from it in some form or fashion, because that's my favorite part of NFTs. It's not necessarily the using Ethereum and using all of this other stuff. And I wanted to fight back on that with Josh too, if we want to do it at the end of the show, about Ethereum being really used. Oh, what am I doing? I'm holding money in my head. Oh my God.
Showing off.
I know it's bad. I don't even know
It's a
why I
Black
was
Billionaires Club, man. What do you
No,
expect?
man, that's bad. I did not mean to do that. Let me put that over there. No, but I do want to say that like I want to fight back on that with Josh later about Ethereum being used a whole lot. But I do want to say that I love the fact that my man Mad Bitcoins utilized Ethereum during a time when everything was very, when everybody was experimenting with stuff, man, and you brought something really cool to the table. And the fiat threw me off. So yeah, that's all I want to say, man. I'm glad that Curio Cards are doing what they're doing. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. That's the biggest part of NFTs for me, is that the artist can get their money. Like, go get your money, man, and exchange it for Bitcoin as fast as possible. But go get your money, sell your stuff, find a new marketplace, and then exchange it as fast as possible for Bitcoin. That's what it was. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, it's been really great. It's a really fun couple of days. The Discord has been going crazy. We had a great Twitter Spaces hangout. People are finally tweeting about it. All the stuff in the Discord is really positive. People are like, at first I wasn't sure about this art, but now I really like it. And this crypto lurker did a fun video where she postulated about what the first 10 card story was, and it's getting kind of biblical and kind of romantic and just has a really great story to it. So I love all that input. I always look at it and I'm always like, where were you 4 years ago? Huh? Because I tweeted about this and I made YouTube videos. I did what I could. But it's great that they're here now. It's like, Gandalf on the third day on the hill. It's like he showed up. Everything's fine now. So yeah, I've always been into baseball cards, always been into collectibles. Curio cards are really neat because they do, despite what Jackson might say, have an enforced rarity. If it says there's 2,000 cards, there's only 2,000 cards. That's it. What's also neat about them, as opposed to my real baseball cards or my comic books or my records or anything, you can't bend them, you can't break them. They're always in mint condition. So these are always very fine Curio cards in mint condition. Josh, do you and Lamar want to talk about Ethereum for a little bit? The exit question isn't very political. So go ahead, Lamar.
Yeah, go on, man.
Oh, this is what I was going to say, right? This is the thing I try to always explain to people. Right now, if you actually go look on chain of Ethereum and you look at the number one contract, which is Uniswap, now I think Uniswap version 3 might be the largest now, the most used from a wallet perspective, you're only seeing about 46,000 unique wallets a day using that contract. And if you go to the very next contract, it's around 6,000 wallets. And you keep going down and you only get to about 200 contracts that are actually being used on Ethereum for a grand total of maybe all together and all of the, and that's not to say that some of those same wallets aren't using all those contracts. Out of all of those contracts, you're only getting maybe 100,000, maybe even if at the most 300,000 unique wallets using that. If that was a website, no one would care. You get what I'm saying? Like, websites, they have a higher, like if 300,000 people are going to a website, you're like, oh, okay, it's 300,000 people. On the flip side of that, if you look at Binance Smart Chain, their number one contract is doing 5 times as much as the number one contract on Ethereum. And so what I'm starting to see is here's my theory. My theory is this, is that when something is a utility, then the price of that thing would have to start going towards zero for people to continue to still use it as a utility. So something like Ethereum, as the price keeps going up and it becomes expensive to use it, not even from a fee structure, but just from the price of having to go get Ethereum to use the contract, people will find other Ethereums to use. And that's what we're already seeing, the migration from Ethereum over to a more centralized Binance Smart Chain, which is also very weird to me, because what's happening is people are showing us they don't care about centralization when it comes to utility tokens, which means that people are really looking at these systems as almost being Oracle all over again. It's just like a new type of database. So if you're willing to trust these systems, as long as they keep the cost low for you to use it and you can make more money on top of it, you'll go to whatever blockchain works the best and is the cheapest. And that's why I'm saying, when people say there's all these uses for Ethereum, you can actually go look at on-chain data and actual information that is being used to hit these contracts, and you'll realize that it is very, 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 very slim. And I think the idea is the notion of it, and the idea and the promise of it is far bigger than the actual reality of Ethereum at this point. And I think that's something that needs to be said.
That's part of our new censorship-friendly blockchain technology. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, no, look, I agree. I think it's very, very early days for this technology. And the thing is that Binance will, of course, they're renowned for just pumping their own books, for fake orders, and just, they want to make Binance Smart Chain the chain because they own all these coins. And they just fake it till they make it. And so, for me, Ethereum was the first smart contract platform that came out, and they're working on decentralizing it more and more. They're trying to. There are some core problems with Ethereum. I'm not there to stand up for Ethereum and say no, they're the best. We've talked about it many times on the show. I'm a staunch Bitcoiner from way back. The problem is I don't want to use a centralized system to build my idea on. Like Binance Smart Chain, because why not just put it on Vaultora then? Why not just put it on a database? No, so I'm going to use Ethereum because at least they're trying to be decentralized. There's still problems, like for instance, just aggregating the data is pretty much like two nodes that aggregate all the data, because there's just so much throughput of this stuff that it's definitely not decentralized, and it could be hijacked or controlled. I think it's a process, and I feel that nothing's perfect at the time. And right now, we can't say, oh look, there's only 300,000. It's a website, it wouldn't get much value, but Bitcoin had a lot of value in my mind when there was you could just buy alpaca socks with it. So, it's, I think for me, it's more future forward thinking. I want to stay away from like Neo and all these like weird smart contract, like where the Ethereum killers, because 4 years later, Ethereum's still working. It's got a massive amount of developers that are interested in the space. Of course, Binance, in their way, basically is stealing all of that by saying we do we coded the same thing, so you can just write Solidity, port your contracts over, and then we'll pump that by putting fake transactions through all day long and make it look like we're more popular. But if you look at anything on Binance Smart Chain, it's just the shit coins of shitcoin, like the worst rug pull nonsense that you can ever find is there. And basically it's a casino. It's a casino of crap, rather than serious projects that are trying to do interesting economic theory on a decentralized system, which is trying, when I say decentralized with these air quotes, what I'm saying is that it's a process. And I hope that Ethereum will decentralize further, because people can say decentralized to Bitcoin as well, because decentralized isn't on or off; it's a scale, and so we're always hoping that we'll go further into more decentralized system. Now, what you said about the utility, I think is absolutely true. You do want to go towards cheaper and cheaper, and I think it's also right, and this is all a big experiment. Do the normies give a shit about decentralization? Well, I can tell you they don't for sure, but they will once there's a huge takeover or 51% attack or a government destruction of the centralized system. Because that was the whole point of decentralization, is you cannot stop this. You cannot stop this if you don't like it. So once someone doesn't like the Binance Smart Chain stuff and takes them down, maybe they can't. Maybe it's decentralized enough. I don't know, but it's definitely an interesting space, and I just find it fascinating. And that's one thing that I really love, is that we can test our economic theory without gulags, and that's for me the big win.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the thing about the utility is right, but I also think that because no one cares about decentralization, stuff like NFTs will find their way to places like Flow. Like the biggest NFT platform was NBA Top Shots. They did over $570 million worth of NFTs over the last year or so. Was it this year? I guess. So since they've been up. So my whole thing is like, I mean, if you look at that and you see how much money went through there, then clearly the people who are buying these NFTs, they don't care. And guess what? The artist or the platform, get your money. Like, go get your money. A lot of this other stuff that people are trying to build, I just always tell them be very careful, because Ethereum and all of these other platforms, because you haven't seen them completely scale. We saw what even happened with CryptoKitties, as popular as that got. We saw what happened with that. And it's not like Ethereum changed much since then. So what happens when you onboard somebody like Banksy? What if Banksy puts out a auction on Ethereum? Like, will it be able to handle the amount of traffic that Banksy is, right? And this is going to kill it. And at that point, what happens, right? So anybody out there developing, just understand from a technical standpoint, Ethereum is not ready. None of these smart contract platforms are really ready. And what I'm starting to realize, it might not be ready. I think we will start to find that the whole idea of a world computer, it can work, but right now, if you're trying to build something, it might even be better for you to just build it in the cloud, build the application, and utilize sound money like Bitcoin, like real talk.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying, but you could have the similar discussion to say that, you know, when we all got into Bitcoin, it was about bank the unbanked. Well, at $25 a pop, the unbanked ain't touching Bitcoin for a while.
I disagree there, because we had this week we had a Bitcoin meetup in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. I delayed my flight back to Portugal because we had the meetup, and we used in a very short time, we just bought lots of chicken wings and beers and drinks on Lightning Network, and all of them on Lightning, and none of them failed. It really scaled. We paid like practically zero fees. So if you have a channel or you get a pre-funded Lightning channel, it does scale. It really,
but there are layer 2 solutions for Ethereum too. So you could quite easily say, well, you know, it scales on layer 2 on Ethereum. So these things are available. They copy each other. You know, these technologies don't just stick on one chain. The thing is with Lightning or any of these layer 2 solutions that I see as a big problem is that the network effect for layer 2 isn't there. It takes a while to grow. And Lightning Network is growing phenomenally at the moment. So it's really great to see. And that's because of the great work of people like Ben Ark and thousands of different developers. You know, he just comes to mind because he's fantastic and he's always on the show. But the network of layer 2 definitely needs time to grow. So I think it's a little bit disingenuous to say, oh, well, you know, Ethereum doesn't grow, but Bitcoin does because of Lightning. Well, there is a layer 2 on Ethereum too. It just takes time to...
Nobody's using that. People are using the Lightning Network, and nobody is using the Ethereum layer 2, for which we don't even recognize the name right now. So it's
Polygon.
I agree with Lamar. He just used a lot of words to tell that Ethereum is a shitcoin and it doesn't scale. And he has a point there. And I know you will not agree, but Lamar, I think I have to agree with you here, because it doesn't scale.
I also want to agree with Lamar on the decentralization issue. It really does seem, with the proof of stake feature that Ethereum's trying to put in, that if you had an early pre-mine with Ethereum developers and holders, and they had lots of Ethereum, and then you made an adjustment already to the way that Ethereum's produced to benefit the early pre-mine, now you're going to make a proof of stake system where, again, proof of stake, the people with the stake get the rewards. So it's a built-in centralization thing. And I think, like Josh is saying, they've just forgotten the benefits of censorship resistance. They've forgotten why someone might want to block their transactions. A lot of us remember you can't donate to WikiLeaks. You can't donate to this. You can't support the causes or the people that you want to support. And that will happen again, but it'll happen on Ethereum.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely has problems. You know, man, I've been known as a Bitcoin maximalist for forever. I can't believe I'm sitting here standing up for Ethereum. It's just, I can't build what I want to build on Bitcoin. So I have to choose the next best thing, and that's this. The thing is that Ethereum, as many issues as it has, it's an experiment, just like Bitcoin is. It's not perfect. Proof of work is an experiment. Proof of stake. They're all experiments. Proof of work is more built out. I believe it's better. Proof of stake will definitely have issues. I mean, you can already see where these big exchanges who have massive amounts of this stuff can start to centralize on those nodes. So not only do they have the power to move the price, they have the power to start telling you what's in the blocks. They also have minor extractable value issues where they can front run decentralized exchanges because they have so much staking power, and they're like 3 blocks ahead, so they can then reorg the last 3 blocks. I mean, there's lots of really, really interesting issues. I'm not saying they're all being solved. It's just a fascinating time as a technologist and as someone that loves cypherpunk ethos and smart contract ideas and decentralized money, just to watch the space and build a project on there and see how we go. Yeah.
I love to see Josh drawn into Ethereum as I was drawn into Ethereum 4 years ago when I wanted to make baseball cards. And they're like, yeah, you can't really do that on Bitcoin yet. And I was like, well, we need to do it now. So we did it. Moving on to the exit question. There are 30 Curio cards designed by 7 artists. Martine Wishmare, which Curio card is your favorite?
I'd buy the 20 and the 21, the one where the Thomas Hunt is the secret agent 007, and the one with the mad scientist, or was it the wizard? Those are my favorite. Number 25, I think it's a bit odd. It looks like semen. I wouldn't even want to have that on the back of my on my phone display. But and I do like the animated ones, the little animated, the blinking eye from the Barbarian. I think there should be more cards with animations on it, because use the medium to its fullest. Like number 30 is cool too. Yeah, actually, they're all nice. I do understand they do get collector's value. I think this is something that yeah, I like the artworks too, like number 28 and 29 and 27. With urban backdrop. I like those two, but my favorites are really the 20 and 21 because it's the creator. It's like the architect is there, so yeah, those are my favorites.
The secret signature, the Easter egg. Josh Sigala, what are your favorites? And follow Martin's lead, your least favorite Curio card.
Yeah, I'd say 2021 too, man. You're a hot commodity, I tell you. And I agree, the sperm on the 25, it's a wacky picture. Yeah, 2021.
You should have heard the artist complaining on the animation. He's like, I only got 2 frames. I only got 3 frames. And then card number 30 comes out and he's like, why'd that guy get so many frames? I only got 3 frames for 23. So it's great to see these little things. Lamar Wilson, what's your favorite and least favorite Curio card?
My favorite one has to be number 21. Actually, I like 20 better than 21. I like 20 better than 21. I like the agent.
Yeah.
And I think my least favorite one, man, 25 is pretty bad. Scroll up some more. Back to the top. Yeah, 25 is pretty bad. Like, I think it might be 25 might be the worst one. Yeah, 25. I don't like 25. But yeah, 20 is definitely my favorite. I would maybe possibly get that one if I was into NFT cards. Like, I would possibly buy that one. That's one I would buy.
Yeah.
Well, there are 2,000 Mad Bitcoins cards. Some of them might have been burnt as well. There is only 222 of the 25 cards. So despite the opinions here on the art, it's a very popular and a very valuable piece of sperm.
So how do you even buy that? Where do you?
They're all available on OpenSea. So you can hook up your MetaMask wallet with your Ethereum or your wrapped Ethereum or whatever you want to do. And you can go on to OpenSea, make an offer. You can say, I'll pay this for that. or you could take one of the cells that are on the board and accept that as a price. And it's a market. Like they said on Saturday Night Live, prices go up and down, you see. So at your
Do
own
people,
risk.
so because cards, one of the things about cards is having them all, got to get them all Pokemon style. It's because I'm not, I just don't have time to research everything in life. Can you sell, if you manage to get all of them and be like, yes, now I have all of the Curio cards, does that make it worth more as a package?
I believe so. And many people who got into it immediately began collecting it as it was intended, as a set. If you see, we put the numbers on all the cards, you say, oh, that's 3 and that's 17 or whatever. It's a set, right? So a lot of people immediately got the collector's idea. A lot of people also collect mini sets, like they want all the dog coins, or they want, all the crypto graffiti cards. So right now, OpenSea has a bit of a problem. OpenSea needs to fix itself. They arbitrarily decided that you can only sell a set of 20, but everyone knows there are 30 Curio cards. So they need to fix that so that an entire set could be sold. So we could find out the answer to Josh's question. But yes, many people are building sets. I don't know that an entire set has been sold. There's a website on Curio Cards where you can determine the amount. I think it was something between 100 and 170 Ethereum. So around $200,000 to $360,000 for a set of Curio cards right now.
That's
remember
insane.
The main limiter there is that for some of these cards, we started to let the artists choose how many cards we should make. So for 24, 25, and 26, we did 333, 222, and 111. So that 111 card is a major limiter on the availability of sets and a huge block. There's also some other cards. 29 here only has 200. There's some very low number cards that are limiting people's ability to make a set, but you could always make a set of 1 through 10. You could make one of these other mini sets, and those can be sold on OpenSea as packages, bundles, they call them. But yeah, it's open to anybody. I think people think it's going to go crazy. I don't know. They're all about this Gary V. They think that he's going to be about it. And there's a bit of a controversy. CryptoPunks has been claiming that they're the first art NFT on Ethereum, and they're clearly not. We're in the blockchain. We have tweets. We have videos even of us doing this project. I know. And it's on their homepage. Their marketing guys are like, just do it. Just push it through. And then we're over here in reality. Travis is telling me, he's like, yeah, I did a presentation with those guys once. Like I shook their hands. Like I was on the dais. We were like, Curio cards and CryptoPunks together. So
no more shaking hands. Pepper spray next time.
Pepper spray. Hello, nice to meet you. Stop infringing on my IP. Stop infringing on my IP. But yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out. I think a lot of people might be kind of upset that they bought the first NFT and then they didn't get the first NFT, fraud, illegal advertising, all that kind of stuff. And then other people are just like, I finally found the first NFT, and they're very excited, or the first art NFT. So a lot of technicalities, but I don't know. It's been great. Thanks to everybody in the Curio Discord. I hope you're out there. Give us a thumbs up, share this video. Thanks to everybody who's spreading it on Twitter. Really, again, it's all about the community. And there has even been ideas. I've seen ideas floated, like maybe a Times Square ad for Curio cards, something like that would be fun. Maybe we could get a Curio race car. I don't know, at the Curio convention. It's all on the table. Anybody could do it. So thanks so much for discovering my project. Sorry you guys had to talk about it. I know that's a bill. That was indulgence there. So we're moving on to predictions or story of the week. Martine, are you ready with the prediction or story of the week? Go ahead.
Yeah, I had the story of the week. Recently on the Twitter sphere, I noticed that people were complaining that the Bitcoin ATMs, like the one pictured in the back, that they were not supporting Lightning. But this is incorrect. We have been supporting the Lightning Network for years now. And you can enable, as an ATM operator, you can enable Lightning if you support Bitcoin. They all carry Bitcoin. I mean, many of them also do support altcoins. But Lightning is just a little configuration tweak. If you are an ATM operator or you have clients, asking, or you see an ATM that does not support Lightning, tell the ATM operator to contact General Bytes at support@generalbytes.com, and we'll gladly help you get your Lightning enabled, because it's time, it works. It has been working for years. We've been supporting it for years. So I was really hurt. It hurt my feelings when I saw people complaining that Lightning was not supported. Well, we've been like really embracing it since day one. So that was my story of the week. And I wanted to do a shout out to Dai, because this t-shirt survived the washing machine so many times. It's not a thick quality as the World Crypto Network shirts. They're better quality. But I'm not stable, but my Dias t-shirt, it's the only one I still fit after the year of lockdown. So thank you for the t-shirt. That's my story of the week. Sorry.
Gotta watch out. He's not stable. Josh Shigala, do you have a prediction or a story of the week? Go ahead.
No, but I really love the fact that Lightning works in the ATMs. I think the ATMs are basically one of the most important nodes in the network in terms of on and off ramps for normal people to just go out there and get some. Funny story. I was at Parallel Peraltus down in Prague. The Parallel Peraltus, I can never say it properly, but the Institute of Crypto Anarchy. Let's just say it that way. And we had to catch a cab. There was a flight. And I was like, oh, I'll just pay for it with Bitcoin. I have to, hey. And I was showing off to the person we were with, and we're like, and the Bitcoin, you have to send it to the ATM, and then the ATM sends it on. So I had to wait for like double confirmation, and it took forever. And I was like, what's going on? I can't pay, and we're going to go for a flight. What the hell? Can you please take? And they don't take cash, famously. Good on them. But it was really tough. So I love the fact that finally we can get Lightning Network there. I just pay, boom, 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 wonderful, bring it on. I'm just super, super stoked about that. That's really, really great. Well done.
How is the new startup going, by the way? Because it's the story of the week thing. Do you have any new developments?
Oh yeah, well you've got your. I've got the standard. We're competing with DAI. Basically, what we're doing is allowing people to be able to lock up hard and soft assets in smart contracts, and then be able to generate multiple stable coins, not just USD based. So the hope is eventually we'll be able to spit out any stable coin fiat pegged, but back it by gold. And crypto if they want, but gold is great because the interest rate will be very low compared to the collateralization ratio. And the great thing is that you don't have to sell your asset, so then you don't get the capital gains tax, but also inflation works for you. If you borrowed, you've gone long, inflation pays off your loan for you. So it's just such a great.
If I understand correctly, you can create a stable coin using the standard.
That's right.
So there's people from Suriname I'm talking to. They are in the gold business, gold mining business, and they also are in Bitcoin now. And they asked me this week if it would be possible to create a coin that's backed by gold, issued by gold. So this standard software will be able to do that.
The thing is, people have been begging for gold-backed crypto for so long, and I hate the idea. It's just dumb because it basically, anyone that's doing that is scamming you, because if you lose your private keys, someone has to pay for that gold in the vault. Holding physical things in the real world means you have to pay what's called demurrage. You have to pay for the fat doors, the men with guns, the auditing, the insurance, it goes on and on. And if you buy a token that's worth 1 gram sitting in a vault, and then you lose those keys or you don't move those for ages, the vault operator has to pay those costs forever. And so it just doesn't work. And so what you want to do is what we're doing with the standard is that an Oracle system would with an API lock into the database lock up those funds in a non-sellable MEC. So it would just say, no, that's not about, that's your allocated funds, but it locks, put it up into the smart contract as a unit of account, as a tokenized unit of account, but the human can never get those because otherwise they'll lose their keys. What they can do then is use that collateral to generate a stable coin, and then that stable coin is backed by their hard assets. That's provably more assets than the value of the stable coin. And then there's a whole bunch of mechanisms where the DAO will actually vote on interest rates to, so if the peg starts slipping below, then you lift the interest rates, which means there's demand. People want to pay back their loans. They go and buy off the secondary markets, lifting them. So just the central banking mechanism, except rather than a group of old white men sitting in behind a door going, yeah, lift the interest rates. We have a community of thousands of people doing that. The thing is, DAOs also have a fundamental problem where voter turnout. Voting for me, I'm a crypto anarchist, so I don't like voting. What we're working on is having prediction markets to tell the future. Prediction markets are, have a lot of academic work to say that they are the best way humans have possible to tell the future. So I'm really interested to get prediction markets working where we can decide on an interest rate that is the best in the future to peg in the next, hour, what will keep, or day, or whatever it is. We're still working on it, that will best peg the interest rate to keep that peg. And then when you have to, pay back your loan after 10 years, let's say, then the inflated crap fiat that you've got, it's worth way less, so it takes way less to pay back the loan. And what I hope it does is it really allows people that are living paycheck to paycheck to be able to save in real hard assets like gold or silver or Bitcoin or anything like that, any crypto, and still have liquidity to go and use for food and stuff. And you're not trusting a full third party. Sure, there's trust in the smart contract. Hopefully over time that trust is less and less as the smart contract doesn't get hacked. But it allows people to have liquidity but save at the same time and not get hit by capital gains tax. So that's the hope. That's the vision. It's a big dream. We've got a big team now of 10 people working on this thing, it's still sort of stealth mode. I guess it's not now. I've just laid it all out. But I'm super fascinated.
Where can they learn more about it? Where can they learn more about the standard?
Yeah, if you go to thestandard.io, that's basically it, and you can read up on it there, white paper, everything there.
Very cool. We'll have to check it out. Now for our next guest, I've known Lamar a long time, since FIVA Wallet with him and Leif. And I just want to recognize the incredible work he's been doing on Clubhouse with Black Bitcoin billionaires, incredible education. Anyone can join. They have all these different meetups. They'll answer your questions. They'll teach you about Bitcoin. And the best thing about it, when I hang out on Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces and some of the guys or gals from the Black Bitcoin billionaires come in, it's like they're already pre-trained. They're like, I don't like altcoins. I like to save my Satoshis. I got a hardware wallet. I work hard. I save my money, and someday maybe billionaire. So I think it's just great stuff that you guys are doing, and I celebrate it all the time. It's nice to thank you while you're here and to give you some props. But Lamar, do you have a prediction or a story of the week? Go ahead. Make sure to unmute yourself.
I think the story of the week. Thank you so much for that, Thomas, man. Yeah, you always been a real good friend to me. You to me signify the old head Bitcoin guys and gals that I love so much, man. Welcome me in with open arms back in the day when we did have a few wallets. So thanks, bro. But now, man, the Black Bitcoin billionaires. The story of the week is we are getting our Black Bitcoin billionaire Lightning Network up. So we had our first transactions go through. One of the Black Bitcoin billionaire nodes took some of the fees. So what we're doing in the same way. I don't know if you've heard of the PlebNet, but PlebNet, they have their kind of subnet of the Lightning Network. Black Bitcoin billionaires is doing the same thing, but we're going to connect with the PlebNet. So we're going to have the Black Bitcoin billionaires Lightning Network rolling. And I love that. And also, I'm gonna say to you all first, Black Bitcoin Billionaires is about to start doing something called demo days. We have some very large companies in the space that have put up some money so that we can start to fund disenfranchised Black-owned businesses, tech businesses around the cryptocurrency space, to start putting some money into those companies. Because what we found is that many of these investors want to put money into those communities, but they don't have the networks to find those companies. And then on the other side, the companies that are in those communities don't usually have the networks to get to those VCs, right? And so we're trying to be that liaison between them and provide that opportunity. And you'll hear more about it here soon. So yeah, Black Bitcoin Billionaire continues to grow, continues to do things. We're almost at 120,000 members on Clubhouse, so I'm very, very proud of that. And yeah, that's the news of the week. Wait till you see this Black Lightning Network, the Black Lightning Network. Yeah, it's really cool.
Sounds fantastic, and just incredible job with that group. One of the best groups on Clubhouse, and just fantastic crew. And like you said, tech stuff as well. They'll teach you how to set up a Lightning node, how to use your Lightning node, just anything at all. You just got to be polite, help out the community. And also if you want to teach or tell people, help Bitcoin, you can go there and volunteer. Anyone can join in.
And let me say this, you don't have to be a billionaire to join. I know the title says Black Bitcoin Billionaire, but listen, you don't have to be a billionaire, even though the title says that. Because most people say, do I have to be Black? The Black part is not the real criteria. The billionaire part is the one that really matters. No, but seriously, you don't have to be Black to join. We have a very diverse, super diverse group. We have mods that aren't Black. Of course, when Thomas comes through, he comes on stage. It doesn't matter who you are. It says Black Bitcoin Billionaires, and it doesn't just mean just Black people, but it means that Black people run it. And if you have a problem with that, that's on you. That's what I always say.
I can't imagine many people have a problem with that. What the hell?
I'm glad you cleared it up about the billionaire thing, about non-billionaires being allowed.
Yeah,
I only join billionaire clubs now, so it's very restrictive for someone like me.
But what I find fascinating is that the word billionaire has become so normal. And for me, that this is a real sign, just when that song came out, I want to be a billionaire so fucking bad. And I was like, man, when did billion suddenly become normal? Like mainstream. It's a crazy big number. But this is what Bitcoin and crypto fixes.
Back when I was a kid, people just wanted to be millionaires. And now they say millionaire isn't enough. You have to be a 12 millionaire if you just want to live normally. I'm like, that seems like a lot of millions just to live normally. But maybe we'll just have to skip that. Just get a billion, just, right up. So I think we're almost running out of time. We got to give one more plug. Check out the WCN Clips channel. Google on Google for WCN Clips. Check it out. We've got all the great clips from last week's shows. Should you buy Bitcoin now? See what we think. Bitcoin miner moving problems. China. UK rules in favor of fake Satoshi. We've got all the best clips at WCN Clips, and you can share them. You could subscribe. You'd be one of the first 100 subscribers on WCN Clips. So join us over there. Check that out. Thanks to everybody for being on the show. Be sure to go check out those Curio cards, I guess. It's been amazing. I'll see you in the Discord. It's been lots of fun. Maybe we'll have another Curio card hangout. Check that out here on the World Crypto Network. We've also got a playlist full of interviews I did if you want to learn more about Curio cards. So thanks so much to everybody for joining us. Like and subscribe. Until next time. Bye.